Hey, how's it going everyone? MLT Magic Tricks here. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a performance and tutorial for this really great self-working card trick that you should definitely learn. So I would start this one off by giving the deck a shuffle. From here, I would explain to my spectator that for this trick, we are going to be using 10 cards from the deck, and my spectator can just go ahead and take out the first 5 that we're going to use. And for the next 5, just to make it quick and simple, I'm going to go ahead and just deal off the top 5 cards from the pack like that. So together here, we have 10 cards, and I would have my spectator first give these cards a quick mix-up. Now, I would explain to them, I am going to now mix up the cards a little bit, and what I'm going to do is spread the cards just to myself, and I'm going to basically rearrange the order a little bit by flip-flopping some cards and keeping some face up and others face down. You guys will see what I mean by that in just a second here. So let me go ahead and finish doing this, and I will show you what I mean. So you can see here we have some cards that are face up, some are face down, and I would tell my spectator now it's their turn to mix up the order of cards. I would first give them a demonstration on what they're going to do. They're going to deal off 2 cards at a time, and they can decide to either just place them right down on the table or turn them over and then deal them. So they would go ahead and do this throughout the entire pack. Once again, 2 cards at a time, they can decide to deal them right down or go ahead and turn them over. Once they're clear on the instructions, they would go ahead and do this. So once again, they can deal, return, and then deal. It's up to them, and they can do it as many times as they want. They can even turn the pack over and go ahead and do it again. So like I said, they will go ahead and do this. Once they've done it a few times, I will tell them to go ahead and just give the pack a few cuts in half. They can, cut the cards in half as many times as they like. Once they are satisfied, I would tell my spectator what we're going to do here is deal out the cards into 2 piles. So we have 5 and 5. I'll go ahead and deal them out just like this. Now we are going to shuffle these 2 packs together. It can be a little hard to riffle shuffle these small packets, but my spectator would do this. I would tell them just to swirl the cards a little bit like this, and then literally just push them together so we have one pile of cards again. With the pile, I would tell my spectator they can give the cards some overhand shuffles like so, really randomizing the order. They could even give the pack a few final cuts as well. Now, at this point, the last thing we're going to do is deal out the cards again. I would ask my spectator if they want face down or face up. It's up to them. Let's say they want face down. I would deal my spectator the face down cards and deal myself the face up ones like this. As you can see, it works out where we have 5 and 5. I would remind my spectator we started this trick with 10 random cards. We did a bunch of shuffling, cutting, and dealing throughout the performance, a lot of which my spectator actually did. And you guys may think it's absolutely impossible. My spectator ends up with a royal flush. You guys can see here the best hand in poker, a 10, jack, queen, king, and ace, all of the same suit. In this case, they are spades. So that is the card trick. If you want to learn how to perform it, make sure you watch the tutorial. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that performance. This is a really powerful card trick that should definitely be in your routine. So grab your deck of cards and let's get right into the tutorial. You're first going to take out the 10, jack, queen, king, and ace of the same suit. The specific order doesn't matter. Just make sure you take out the 5 cards here of the same suit. This is a royal flush hand in poker, which you will explain, later in the trick to your spectator. Place these 5 cards on top of the deck and you're ready to go. You can tell your spectator you're going to start off by mixing up the cards. Give the deck a riffle shuffle, keeping more than 5 cards there on top so you retain your setup. You can also give the cards some false cuts as well. With your 5 setup cards here on top of the deck, tell your spectator that for the trick, you're going to be using 10 cards. They can go ahead and take out the first 5. These are just going to be 5 random cards from the middle of the deck that your spectator is going to take out. Explain to them the next 5 are going to be your choice. Just to make it quick and simple, you're going to deal off the top 5 cards from the deck, which are your setup cards. So place the 2 piles together. So now you have 1 pack of 10. Have your spectator give these cards a quick shuffle. They can truly mix up the order of these cards, which is really cool. From here, you're going to take the deck back, tell your spectator you're going to spread through the cards to yourself, And here's what you're going to do. This is a very important part of the trick. So as you're spreading through, you're going to be looking for your setup cards and your non-setup cards. That's how I'm going to classify the 10 cards here. So I'm spreading through. I see I have a queen of diamonds and a jack of spades. Non-setup and setup. 2 cards need to be next to each other. They basically need to be the same. So you need to have 2 non-setup cards and 2 setup cards next to each other as you're going. So I'm spreading through. I'm just going to place that one right there to the top because now I have my 2 setup cards next to each other. When you have your 2 setup cards that are right by each other, you're going to need to make them back to back. So royal flush setup cards are going to be going back to back just like that. So I'm turning it over. So now this ace of spades and this jack of spades are back to back. I'm spreading through. I see, okay, I have a setup card here. Then I have 2 non-setup cards. So I'm just going to slide the setup card there to the top. And when I have my 2 non-setup cards next to each other, there's 2 of diamonds and 5 of clubs. These are going face to face. So that's the difference there. Setup cards go back to back, just like this. Non-setup cards go face to face. So I'm spreading through. Okay, I see I have a king of spades here, 7 of clubs, and a 5 of hearts. The king is my setup, and I've got my 2 non-setup cards here. Once again, face to face, just like that. So I'm spreading through here. I've got a non-setup card sandwiched in between these 3 setup cards. I'm just going to bring that to the top. So now I have my 2 setup cards here next to each other, the 2 queen of spades and the 10 of spades. Remember, these go back to back, just like that, back to back. And lastly, you're going to be left with a setup card and a non-setup card. This king of spades, in this case, is one of the royal flush cards. This one, every single time, guys, it's very important, needs to be on the very top here, just like that. And you can either turn it over or just keep it face up. It doesn't matter. So as you're spreading through, that's how you're going to need to rearrange them. Rewatch this part of the video if you need to really understand it. It's not too difficult once you get it down, but this is essential. You guys rearrange these cards in the correct way. Once again, setup cards, the flush cards are going back to back. Non-setup cards are the random ones are going face to face. This is how it's going to look. It's going to be a little bit different every single time, but you do need to pair them. And then when the last cards you get to, you're going to have a setup card on the very top followed by a non-setup card. And this can go up or it can just be turned over like that. It does not matter. From here, you're ready to go. Once you get the hang of it, you're going to do it pretty quick to yourself, and your spectator is just going to think you're randomly rearranging the cards. From here, tell your spectator that you are going to be showing them what they're going to do next. It's their turn to essentially mix up the cards. You're going to spread off 2 at a time. Tell them they can either place them right down on the table or turn them over and then place them down. So it's up to them what they want to do. You're just going to spread out the 10 cards. It's very important they keep the 2 cards next to each other like this. They can turn them or just place them right down. So once they're clear, hand the cards over to your spectator, and they are going to do this. They can do it as many times as they want. Just have them do it like 2 or 3 times here. So once again, they're spreading off the 2. They're keeping them together, and they can place them right down, or they can just turn them over. So this is how it's going to look. Make sure they're not putting one card on top of another. They cannot do that. They just need to slide them off and keep them basically in the same order. But again, they can turn them or just place them right down. You can have them flip over the pack and they can do it again. Just have them, like I said, do it 2 or 3 times. This is how it's going to look. Make sure your spectator is doing it the right way. From here, you can basically now tell them they can just give the cards as many cuts as they want in half. It doesn't matter. Make sure they're only cutting them in half, not a few times. Again, they can turn them over and give the cards some cuts, just like this. So from here, after your spectator's done the dealing and the cutting, ask for the cards back and deal them out into 2 piles. You're going to have 5 and 5, and it's very important what you do here. You need to locate the pile that's going to have your face-up setup cards. So you can see here, this left pile, the ace of spades and the 10 of spades, those are royal flush cards. Once you locate this pile, simply turn it over, just like that. Keep the other pile how it is. Tell your spectator, you or them are going to riffle shuffle these together. It's honestly kind of hard to do it with the small piles. So literally just do this. Put some pressure down, turn both of the piles, have your spectator play, or you can do this, push them in together. Be careful that the cards don't flip-flop or anything, but they're just going to go intertwined like that. And the setup is still gonna work. Again, make sure they're not flipping over. Just place them right in together like that. Square up the pack. If your spectator's skilled enough to do overhand shuffles where they're not like overturning the cards or anything, they're just keeping them upright like this, they can do this, or you can as well. Again, make sure you're not like overturning the cards or anything, just doing simple overhand shuffles, and you can even then have them give the pack a few cuts. So we're almost done here, guys. The last thing you're going to do is ask your spectator if they want face down or face up cards. If they want face down, tell them, okay, I'm going to deal you the face down ones. If they say they want the face up, it doesn't matter. Either way, you just need an excuse to separate the two halves of cards. Now, however you phrase it, if you're left with this face down pack, just say, you know, you dealt me a great hand, or if it was theirs, you tell them you dealt yourself a great hand, because you're going to snap your fingers and reveal that the face down cards actually make up a royal flush. Before you do that, you can do a quick recap of everything you did. You know how you started with 10 random cards, you did all the shuffling, dealing, cutting. They basically did a whole bunch of it. Really cool self-working trick that ends with this powerful effect. I hope everything made sense. Rewatch any parts of the tutorial you need to in order to fully understand it. But once you get it down, it works every single time and will amaze your audience. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in my next one. Peace out.